It's getting late. Where to now? Uh-oh. It looks like the patients have surrounded Natasha. Let's hear what they're saying.
What are you saying, Doctor? The wonder medicine is out of supply?
Correct. That medicine is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Wildfire has cut off the supply chain. Your ailments need rational, scientific treatment. Relying on pseudo-medicines will only worsen your condition.
Rational and scientific, huh? The way I see it, you're just jealous you lost your patients.
Oh, how dare you speak to Dr. Natasha like that? Where are your manners?
Ma'am, please think for a moment. How can you still be siding with her? That wonder medicine was working fine for us, and now it's gone because she wants it to be? How can she?
I understand your anger, but as your doctor, I ask you to trust my judgment. I will find a way to access more medical resources and help you through your struggles. If I must, I'll get help from the surface.
The surface? I almost forgot that you were an overworld big shot.
Have some respect for Dr. Natasha.
If it's respect she wants, she better find a replacement for the wonder medicine fast. If not, I'll tell everyone about how she set up Dr. Vash. I'm out of here.
I wish you all a journey that is free of illness. Oh, you're here. I apologize. That must have made for uncomfortable viewing. I'm okay. If I were in his shoes, I may well have had the same reaction. Now I need to focus on treating the patients and dispelling their doubts. Let's leave it for now. I'll feel a lot better once I've gotten rid of this mess that Vash left us. Now's as good a time as any to tell you Vash's whole story. If there's anything you want to know, don't hesitate to ask. No, but I used to think we were so close that we may as well have been. I, actually grew up in the orphanage. It wasn't until I was adopted by an overworld family that life changed for me. My adoptive mother always saw me as her own flesh and blood, and Vash loved me like a sister. That is, while we were still young. My adoptive parents belonged to a prominent medical family. As kids, we were exposed to all kinds of medical texts. When we were older, both of us got straight into Belobog's medical school. We were on a path into the medical profession. He was gentle and introverted. But when it came to work, he could be absurdly obsessive, like a completely different person. Whenever I made a mistake in an experiment, he'd bite my head off. And then a while later, he'd apologize and comfort me. He was conflicted in that way. I didn't know he had leftover reagents in Rivet Town. I was shocked when you told me. If you fail to make a clean break with the past creeps up on you. That's a long story. Ever since he was little, Vash had always wanted to develop a medicine called blizzard immunity. He saw the human body's vulnerability to cold as a disease, and wanted to cure it so that humanity could survive the eternal freeze. If he succeeded, people would be able to leave Belobog and rebuild their homes in the snow plains. To be honest, I never understood how he'd achieve that blizzard immunity. But I do admire that vision and perseverance. I always chose to believe him, ever since I was a kid. I knew his research in the overworld wasn't going well. I used to write to him and ask him to come down and stay with the kids in the orphanage for a while. I thought it might help take his mind off his research. But I was too young to know what long-term frustration could do to a person. It changed him, in a terrible way. During his stay in the underworld, he met patients affected by fragmentum corrosion with mild symptoms. Compared with non-patients, their bodies reacted differently to hot and cold. And that fascinated Vash. He began to simulate mild fragmentum corrosion, thinking that it could lead to breakthroughs in developing blizzard immunity. Those reagents of his aren't cure-alls for critical illness. That doesn't exist. Vash made the reagents to mitigate the suffering of his patients in the short term. A convenient way for him to observe changes in his test subjects. But behind my back, he had been doling out the reagents to residents who were kept in the dark. When it finally struck me that something was wrong, his terrible research had already turned him into a madman. Indeed. And it all happened under my nose. How ridiculous. My judgment was clouded by trust in a loved one. When his experiments were exposed, I spent a long time with Oleg discussing how to handle the aftermath. This was shortly before the underworld was sealed off. There were hardly any Silvermane guards remaining. In the end, Oleg suggested that we banish him and permanently deny him access to the underworld. Had his victims found out the truth, Vash would have been torn to pieces by furious underworlders. I was young and weak at the time. Oleg must have worried about how I'd react to such a scenario, or he wouldn't have suggested banishment. Looking back, it wasn't. He deserved much worse. Oleg and I took Vash to the overworld. He made his final request to us. To take him outside the city to the snow plains he'd always wanted to conquer. His figure gradually disappeared into the snow curtain. I've been telling myself that Vash is dead ever since. Forgive me. I'm not good at telling stories. Vash was a terrible brother and a worse doctor. That's all you need to know. Let's call it a day. Thank you for cleaning up the mess my brother left behind. Here, for your trouble.
not believe this, but...
Time for the main event.
Let's rock!
Savor the vigor of it.
Let's make it quick.
About this! Step aside. I have no interest in stoking conflict.
You're in bad shape.
Let's go.
Time for a shot.
Don't worry about
Let's
me.
make it quick.
Naughty children, don't listen. Just in time. Just a little something. Think nothing of it. Here comes the medicine.
The truth of life and death, revealed in an instant. This sanctuary is but a vision. The time is now.
Savor the vigor of it.
Let's go.
Rules are made to be broken! Batter up!
Time for a shot. You're in bad shape.
Clemency? Never heard of the times now.
Let's make it quick. Stay alert.
Clemency? Never heard of it. The time is now.
Pretty good crowd today. Keep up with my tempo!
Let's make it quick.
Rules are made to be broken! Batter up! The truth of life and death, revealed in an instant. This sanctuary is but a vision!
This song's just for you. Turn up the volume.
Naughty children, don't listen. Just in time. Just a little something. Think nothing of it. All better now?
Pretty good crowd today.
Let's rock!
Let's go.
Time for a shot. Here comes the medicine.
Much better.
Ready to lose yourself? Fight it or rock with it. My music. Conquer us all!
Let's make it quick.
Rules are made to be broken! Step aside. I have no interest in stoking conflict.
Just in time. Just a little something. Think nothing of it.
Much better.
All better now?
Don't worry about me.
Let's go.
The truth of life and death, revealed in an instant. This sanctuary is but a vision.
That'll take more than medicine. Nap time.
Batter up! Clemency? Never heard of it. The time is now.
Naughty children, don't listen. You're in bad shape.
Let's make it quick.
Just in time. Just a little something. Think nothing of it.
Rules are made to be broken!
Looks good.